Right, so again, we're doing limits. Basically, every time I get one, the first thing I look at is where am I going? I'm going to 0. There is definitely a problem at 0, so I want to either use clever algebra to argue why I can get rid of that, or figure out why the limit doesn't exist or equals positive or negative infinity. A nerve hits in my brain, which is Pavlovian almost at this stage. I have a square root or a radical. If I want to get rid of that and there's any justice in the world, if I can cancel this, what that says is I should be able to get rid of the radical somehow and then factor x out of the top so that I can cancel this one, and then I can push the 0 again and this will become a number. If I can't, then we have to do something else and argue why the limit doesn't exist. So the clever trick is conjugation. If I want to get rid of this, I multiply by the exact same thing except change the sign in the middle. Same but different, which is an oxymoron. How can it be both the same and different? So I want to multiply by the same thing but with the opposite sign. But I can't just multiply the top by this, so I multiply by 1, my favorite dirty trick. So we multiply by 1, which doesn't change our expression at all, but now I get what I want out of this scenario. What's going to happen with this is we're going to get the limit as x approaches 0 of whatever was underneath the first square root, 4x plus 1, minus these ones squared, which is 1 squared, over x times the square root of 4x plus 1 plus 1. Now if you notice, what's going to happen is 1 minus 1 will cancel, and I get the limit as x approaches 0 of 4x over x times the square root of 4x plus 1 plus 1. So those x's can now cancel here, and then I'm going to get the limit as x approaches 0 of 1 over the square root of 4x plus 1 plus 1. Now I re-look. Once I've made that algebraic move, I'm going to 0 again. I look, if I put 0 in there, it won't give me division by 0, so I could put it in there. So I'm going to, and this will equal 1 over the square root of 1 plus 1, which is 1/2. So this limit is 1/2. Alright, so basically at the end of this video on limits, I noticed that I lost a 4 somehow, so I get an x, and because it was a number and my process is correct on an exam, I would probably give myself a half a mark off for losing the 4 for some reason, but somehow I missed the 4. So I will cancel the x. Let's get rid of my bad mark. Nobody needs to see. So I canceled the x's in the last step is what was supposed to happen, and then it should have been 4 over this. Now I recompute and I ask myself, where am I going? Now that I've made that clever conjugation and I simplify, I ask myself, where am I going? I'm going to 0. Is there a problem anymore? No. So this can go to 0 again, and we get 4 over the square root of 1 plus 1, which is 4 over 2, which is equal to 2, not 1/2. Not 1/2, 2.